Hi, time to tell you about the wide open assignments. Um, I hope you have watched the virtual lab video and seen the documentation there. Again, just to mention briefly, um, I strongly suggest you either use the virtual lab or, better yet, if you are in town, use a computer lab like our 115 classroom or 114 lab here in Ward. Supposedly, and we're still told, the lab shall be accessible to people like other labs like Feinberg and stuff. We'll see. However, for any reason you can't, consider using the virtual lab with the knowledge that you need to save pretty regularly, and before an hour is up, I would grab all the stuff, zip it up, and email yourself a copy just to keep it safe. And then there's the awkwardness of getting the files onto that computer and getting them off again. But it's doable. It certainly is doable. I would suggest you practice a little bit first, though, just so you know where you're at. However, this first wide open one should not be take that terribly long, because this is called, I'm calling this copy a page. You're copying a page that I made for you. And you are to, it says hand me a printout. You may still occasionally see it on some handouts that I have not changed it on, but there is no handing me a printout on this. All you have to do is save PDFs on a Moodle. And remember, as usual, you have to save the PDF on a Moodle. You have to export a PDF out of InDesign, and you can't just give me the InDesign file because that's no good. All right, so using the Word docs and JPEG files on Moodle in the Wideopen 1 folder, and yes, they are there. Moodle Wideopen 1 is a zip folder. I'll just review that real quickly. I saved these zips already down into a folder on this zip, and actually for the next assignment, 2 and 3, I saved this also, 2 separate zip files onto my computer already. And here I am. I'm going to show you the folder with that one in it. Okay, there it is. Wideopen 1. So I made a folder on my 318 drive called Wideopen. I suggest you do something similar. And for you, it might very well be on your drive or maybe on the thaw space. And to get into a zip folder, just remember, yes, you can double click on it. You can use the unzipping programs. I like the idea of just I make simple zips, open with Windows Explorer, which I'm now inside the folder. I go copy it, I go out of it, and paste it outside. Whatever you do, remember, you can't just go into the zip folder and use that stuff. You have to get the stuff out of the zip folder. Now I could use this whole folder. I can delete the zip now at this point if I want to, and I could use this whole folder and save my InDesign document inside here if I wish. Keep it all together in one place. That might be nice. And you see I have 1, 2, 3 JPEGs and a bunch of Word documents. Okay, good. That's the content you're going to use. I haven't given you any printouts of these because I can't really, but just go look them over. You'll figure them out. They're images and Word documents. And let's continue. So that's not the right one. Here we are. So that's the stuff you're going to use. And that's explained right there. You're going to follow as closely as possible based on not the dummy really, it's based on the actual page I'll show you here, which is attached here to this assignment. You will write your own heads, cut lines, subheads, and choose your own pull quote. Reminders, use the library elements for us. Make proper use of column rules. Very important. Rules don't touch, gutter spaces are maintained. Don't skew your photos. Size them properly. Use the correct box for the photo so you get a frame on it. Don't forget to style a body copy, bylines. Style all the body copy first. Watch out for bad fonts. Force it into the style. Especially in the last graphs, for some reason you get some bad fonts. But if you select the entire file first and then force it into a style, you should be fine. Check spelling. Make sure to have your spell check on. Check your spelling. Edit your cut lines severely. Write good heads. I'm going to expect better heads now. You've learned about heads. You've learned about cut lines too. When you think you're done, make sure, I suggest if you're able to, if you're someplace you can, you print a PDF and do some self-editing. Actually look at it on paper and then to see what's wrong. You may or may not be able to, depending on where you are. You may have to make minor photo recrops to make things fit. Don't overdo tracking and scaling. Remember our minimums and maximums. If you don't remember, you can get that document still, the InDesign Bible document stuff from Moodle. Apply tracking and scaling to paragraphs. Only use leading and blank lines and be subtle about it. Very important. Okay, so these are the cut lines in case you need them. You can use those cut lines there. Okay, so they'll give you a cut line file. There's actually the files there too. And now we have the actual document that you're going to be copying. You're going to make a page that looks just like this. So you're not making your own page, you're just making this page. That's pretty easy, right? Well, yes and no. Things never turn out exactly the same from one person to the next. So look this page over carefully and you'll see I've got subheads. You can use my subheads, I guess, if you want. I think you should do subheads probably in this story here, probably this story here too. But write your own subheads or use mine for this story if you want, but you can probably write your own. You're going to use your own pull quote, find a pull quote. I have a generic pull quote here. You're going to pull a quote there. These photo sizes will probably roughly work for you. Look at the column rules and the way they're used. Use yours the same way. So you're just going to remake this page, write your own headlines, write your own cut lines, try to make it all fit. In other words, the stories have to end and they have to be complete. And I'm showing you that they can be complete. And this is why you really don't want to do this with your own copy of InDesign, because your fonts will be different and things won't fit as a result, because the styles won't match. Okay, so that's Wideopen 1. And then you just save what you're done, export a PDF, and throw the PDF up on Moodle. And you have your deadline Thursday, March 26th, 10 a.m. Good. So that's number 1. Not that hard, but it gets you used to the idea of doing a full page. Number 2 and 3 are harder. Okay, 2 and 3. I'm giving you have another quite a while to do this till April 9th. Based on the discussion, that means the video, and the handout, which you have available there on Moodle also in this week. And also, what I'm telling you right here, you're making your 2 of your own pages. Again, these are still inside pages. The head sizing kind of works all the same way. They must be significantly different from each other and different from Wideopen 1. Each must use a new structure and at least one new story and photo. So you can reuse. In fact, you will need to reuse some of the stuff. But the idea is that at least most of it will be reused differently. You have to do at least a new general overall structure. And remember, I showed you all those possible structures to think about. At least somewhat different. And at least one new photo and story. There doesn't have to be the same new photo for the same story. The story could be the returning story with a different photo, so on and so forth. So, and then again, same thing for number 3. It has to be different from the other 2 in structure, and it has to have at least one new story and photo. You have the option to use a standalone photo. If you choose to, make sure to follow our instructions given in class. Standalone photos will have their own little head, so you just use a headline box. And we're going to do this in all caps if you do a standalone photo. So you would use a photo from one of the stories, but don't use the story. And you have to have rules around it still. Must have a headline appropriate to position the page, must be separate from other content via column rules. Let's make photo heads all caps and centered. To give full credit, Wideopen 2 and 3, different Wideopen 1 and from each other. Use at least one story, one photo you didn't use on the other pages. You may use any of the content. May not use any of the content in exactly the same way you did earlier. In other words, column structures might be different, the heads are going to be different, it's a little different. The structure of the page may be similar, but not something exactly the same. You must use subheads in at least one story, and probably more than that. You must use pull quote in at least one story, probably more than that. You must fill the entire page with no doglegs. In other words, they still have to be rectangular modular units. The page has to be filled. I give you permission on each of these pages to cut 2 stories. In other words, you don't have to use the full story for 2 stories, as many as 2 stories. However, this must be a true edit. Don't just chop it in the middle of a paragraph, for instance, or the middle of a sentence. It has to actually end. Don't end mid-sentence. So you may cut something, and you're probably going to have to just to make things work out. That's going to give you some flexibility there. Please keep in mind that all the rules and guidelines we've been learning and building on throughout to this point, dominant art, descending order of headline sizes, spacing guidelines, write good heads, write good cut lines, proper use of column rules. To make pages fit, adjustments may include minor photo recrops. You can crop the photos to some degree, change the shape of them. Photo resizing, yes, change the size of the photos to make things work different. Change number of column rules too. Number of sticks of copy in that area could change things too. That makes you choose different photo sizes. Add subheads, that adds more space. Headline changes, add another deck of headline, add space. Adding refer quotes, add space. Cutting at least as many as 2 stories, yes. Tracking and scaling within our approved limits. No leading changes of regular text, and blank lines only. You could sketch a dummy, as I said in my instructions earlier. Maybe you just want to make a little on-paper sketch of your own about what things are going to go where. I can send you, and I'll try to actually get the PDF out of the actual dummies, so our dummy PDF, so you can actually print out that if you wish to. And if you're in our classroom, if you're in Ward Hall, you can pick up dummies in our classroom behind the teaching station there. From Wideopen 1, this is this stuff you have. You know what? That is wrong. This content is wrong. I'm going to have to update this. I will update this content and this instructions in just a moment. But you'll see I've given you this Wideopen 2.3. So please ignore these things right here. I will update this content and put up a new PDF. I'm not going to make a new video because I already started this one. And then extra credit. You could do another Wideopen. Again, must be different from the others, but this time must use a standalone photo. And I will replace a lower missing grade or add up to 20 points on a quiz or homework. So what is this content for 2 and 3? It was another zip folder. In the area Wideopen. I downloaded Wideopen 1. I get to download Wideopen 2.3. So you have the list of stuff for Wideopen 1, right? That list of that stuff. You're going to use some or quite a bit of that stuff again, but now you've got a bunch of other stuff. And it looks like, remember, go inside, grab it, go back again, paste it. I can delete the zip folder if I want to. Just don't get confused. You don't want to try to work in a zip folder. Nothing will work right. Open this up. And what do you have? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, these are the current ones, I guess. Some of them. Yeah, actually they are. So some of these are the current folders, photos, and stories. So you're going to use this stuff. You've got an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories, plus additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 photos. Wow, all kinds of additional stuff. It looks like I gave you the cutline file too. So actually 4 stories in a cutline file. So it's quite a lot of stuff, and some of it's pretty lengthy. You have plenty of stuff to do multiple pages different from the other page. So I think you're going to be able to do a good job on this. Don't worry about the fact that some of this is somewhat dated content. That's okay. We'll just have to try to adjust that as we go. You are trying to think about what you think is the most important thing, or somewhat important thing for the top, maybe less important for the bottom. But these are inside pages. Those criteria aren't quite as important, but you do make decisions, and when you decide something is going to be the lead story, then it needs to have the biggest head. We decide something's the best photo dominant art, and it's going to be big art. You can use, so you see, actually I can see a number of these photos which would work well as standalones as an option also. So there you go. That should be pretty well explain the assignment. So there's the additional stuff you're going to be using for the new content and the new photos. And I've given you some other photos also you could use too as standalones, plus the additional stuff from number 1. And expect this is going to take you a little while. But I really strongly encourage you to go back and review the on-paper document of the PDF of the story structures to try to have some ideas. And remember, just some minor reworking and switch out a story and a photo and reuse something a little differently. It's going to be enough structural change from one to the next. But do expect this is going to take a little while because it is puzzle-like to do this. But being able to cut 2 stories will definitely help out.